Welcome back to the Brahmin Word, and we are continuing on with the life of Solomon, but we're getting closer to the end. And sadly, with the end comes this turning against the Lord that Solomon does. So this week we're going to start to see a little bit of that, but today we are going to see a little bit more encouraging passage as we get close to his heart turning the wrong direction. So with that, turn with me to 1 Kings chapter 10. 1 Kings chapter 10, we're going to look at verses 1 through 13. This is concerning the Queen of Sheba, so a foreign queen of Sheba. So with that, chapter 10, verse 1. Now when the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to test him with hard questions. She came to Jerusalem with a very great retinue, with camels bearing spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she came to Solomon, she told him all that was on her mind. And Solomon answered all her questions. There was nothing hidden from the king that he could not explain to her. And when the Queen of Sheba had seen all the wisdom of Solomon, the house that he had built, the food of his table, the seating of his officials, and the attendance of his servants, their clothing, his cupbearers, and his burnt offerings that he offered at the house of the Lord, there was no more breath in her. So, before we get into her just little dialogue with Solomon, just what an absolute encouragement this is to see how she responds to just the wisdom of Solomon. So she hears, and I think with her, what a great example of character with her. A lot of the times when we talk about the Christian faith, it's really easy to just come in to Bible study or to Sunday morning service, whatever it might be, the regular attendance that you do or should do as part of the local church, but you come in and you just go through the motions and you take everything at face value. Don't get me wrong; it's good to listen, but it's even better to comprehend. And so for Sheba, the Queen of Sheba, for the Queen of Sheba, she is hearing all these good things about Solomon. And I love this here too. Heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord. So it's not just that she's heard about Solomon and she's like a fan of Solomon. No, she has heard about the God of Solomon who is using Solomon to further his glory. And I think that's really, really important to see. So she wants to see, is this real? And so she tests him with hard questions. She wants to see, is this wisdom just a happenstance? Is it just coincidence? Is he just getting lucky with the advice that he gives? Or is there a God behind this wisdom? Is this truly godly wisdom? And when she does see not just the answers that Solomon gives, but the way that he, as we've talked about before, the way he delegates, the way he longs to put those around him who have skills, put their skills to use. She is in awe. She is in a state where there is no more breath in her. In verse 5, her breath is literally taken away by all of this, not just the wisdom of Solomon, but the buildings that he has built, especially the temple, and then as well the way that he goes about leading, the way he goes about delegating. So that is really, really important to see. But it continues on. So, with that, verse 6, and she said to the king, the report was true that I heard in my own land of your words and of your wisdom, but I did not believe the reports until I came and my own eyes had seen it. And behold, the half was not told me. Your wisdom and prosperity surpass the report that I heard. Happy are your men. Happy are your servants who continuously stand before you and hear your wisdom. Blessed be the Lord your God, who has delighted in you and set you on the throne of Israel. Because the Lord is loved Israel forever, he has made you king, that you may execute justice and righteousness. Wow, what a statement. And it's cool because, now granted, it seems like she has a very healthy knowledge of who the Lord is. But again, just like we shouldn't take that on face value today, we can't take it on face value here that the Queen of Sheba, whoever her actual name is, we can't take it for granted that she is a follower of the Lord. But she has definitely been given the chance to see who the Lord is through the person and the attributes and the skills that God has given to Solomon. And it's cool to think about this when you and I, as followers of Jesus, when we do put our skills to the test, when we put them to work for the glory of the Lord, for the evangelizing of the gospel of Jesus. This is the way that we hope those that we spread the gospel, how they would respond. We hope and pray this is how they would respond. Look at how they treat each other within this church. Yes, it's not perfect, but they love each other because they love Jesus, and that's kind of what we see here. And so what just a beautiful way of going about this. Most likely Sheba is probably referring to Yemen. That's my guess. With biblical ancient countries, it's hard to know for certain, but most likely this is probably Yemen that is being talked about. So with that, though, she does not just give him encouragement by word, but through gifts as well. Verse 10. Then she gave the king 120 talents, which we've talked about. 4 talent is about 75 pounds. So she gives him 75 pounds times 120 of gold, and a very great quantity of spices and precious stones. Never again came such an abundance of spices as these that the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. Spices in this time are used to elevate food, of course. They could be used to preserve food, but more importantly, they are a way of showing status. But then in the time of Jesus, we see that spices are actually very, very important to use during burial. So obviously, it's not like the Queen of Sheba is coming and saying, "You're about to die, Solomon," but it's a note of honor. It's a note of respect to the person that you are giving these spices to, so that when they do pass away, whenever that time comes, they have all of these spices to put on their corpse. So as the corpse decays, there is this just thought that the body will not reek as much as if there wasn't these spices. And so it's all about respect and honor. So we do see that there as well. But it continues, verse 11. Moreover, the fleet of Hiram, who brought gold from Ophir, brought from Ophir a very great amount of almug wood and precious stones. And the king of Tyre made of the almug wood, the King Solomon. I think it's referring to Solomon here. And the king made of the almug wood supports for the house of the Lord and for the king's house, also lyres and harps for the singers. No such almug wood has come or been seen to this day. So just setting apart everything that's being built here. Verse 13, and King Solomon gave to the Queen of Sheba all that she desired, whatever she asked, besides what was given her by the bounty of King Solomon. So she turned and went back to her own land with her servants. So it is a great evangelism moment where we get to see how the Lord uses somebody that is giving himself or herself over to the Lord and using the talents and the skills that the Lord gives them, and how amazing of a witness that can be. However, with that being said, on Thursday, we begin to see the turn in Solomon's life. So we are going to do this. We are going to look at the end of chapter 10 on Thursday. And then next week, we are going to look at the book of Proverbs and just as an overview, basically. And then the following week, we will see the true fall of Solomon. We will see that in chapter 11. And then the week after that, we will look at Ecclesiastes, the book of Ecclesiastes, where by the end, I believe Solomon gets to the point where he somewhat is coming back to the Lord. So there's a lot still left to cover, of course, with the life of Solomon. But here, just with the Queen of Sheba, when you and I really focus on just serving the Lord and those around us, not just in our local church context, which is important, but in our community as a whole, that can speak volumes for the gospel of Jesus. And I hope you could see that today through the interaction between Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. So I will see you on Thursday as we start to see the beginning of the end for King Solomon. So with that being said, thanks for spending time with me today. I will see you Thursday. Thanks.